Nissan Cube time. Aside from something I did a couple days ago, which I'll go over, this car has had zero maintenance or work done to it. And it's time to change that. Now, when we tuned it and made 312 horsepower, I think it was, we started slipping the clutch. And ever since we did that, the clutch has just been getting a little worse, and now it's not grabbing till up top. So obviously we need to change that. So we're gonna do that, I'll go over that in a second. But I did this a couple days ago. I was waiting for something to cool off that I was making for the white car out there. So I threw this reservoir tank together to just get more fluid into the water to air system. I'm having intake air temp problems when it's really hot outside. I'm seeing about 120, 130 degrees when I'm cruising at like 40 miles an hour. Now, part of that's to be expected because it's, hot and water to air is not the most efficient way to do this, but shouldn't be that high. And what I was hearing when I was just rolling this thing around is the pump was like cavitating, like it wasn't getting fluid in it constantly. So added this little, it's like a quart of fluid that it holds. That way there's always pressure on the intake of the pump, and now there's constant fluid flowing there. And I've already noticed a difference, and this was only a couple days ago. I've already noticed a difference in the intake air temps even when we're kind of just sitting here, because the water in here is now circulating through a lot better, and it takes longer for that water to actually heat up because we have a reservoir now. So that's that. Otherwise, haven't done anything to the car, not even an oil change, which is something we're gonna do this time around. So that is the car. Here is the stuff that we need. So I have a Clutchmaster FX 250 clutch and flywheel kit for a Juke. Yes, this will fit a Cube. So we have this. This car's got a stock engine in it. It's never going to make 400 or 500 horsepower. This clutch will hold for maybe 500 horsepower. So this is what we're going to be putting in there. I've got stuff to do an oil change, new slave cylinder, valve cover gasket, because I want to take the valve cover off and check out the valve train, maybe check some valve latch, just verify everything is still in good health. We're going to do a compression test. And I also have 2200 cc injectors that are coming. In here we have 1050 cc injectors, which was plenty for making like the 300 horsepower we're at. The problem is we are gonna need more than that. When we made 312 horsepower on these injectors at this fuel pressure, we were getting up into like the 60% range, 70% range for duty cycle, which means when I start adding even more boost and even more power, we're gonna run out of that quick, especially on ethanol. So we got injectors coming. They're not gonna be here until tomorrow or the day after that, which is fine, because we're not gonna be tuning this thing for a couple of days so I can get some break-in miles on the clutch. So that's what we're doing as far as that goes. We're also gonna be taking care of an interior issue that I'm having. So the steering wheel is like falling apart. It's really bad. So I'm gonna put a Juke Nismo steering wheel on here that I have. It's kind of got all the Alcantara worn off of it, but it'll still fit. I also have a Juke airbag, which will work with this system. I checked the resistances, they're the same. Connections should be the same. So we're gonna just swap this out with a better quality steering wheel, and that'll take care of that. I have the AEM wideband just kind of flopping around in here. We're gonna swap that out with a Fuel Tech wideband controller, which I have over here. So I have a Nano Pro in the drag car. This is just the Nano, which only displays your air fuel ratio, or Lambda. These just integrate a lot better into the Fuel Tech system. The AEM ones sometimes will cut the signal out while you're driving, which isn't great. So I'm gonna put these in. I love these. I've installed a ton of these now. So we're gonna do that, which is just gonna require me doing a little bit of wiring on the inside, and then we're gonna mount the Nano somewhere where I can see it. So that's what's going on here. The big job is the clutch. So we're gonna dive into the clutch first and then go from there. So once I get stuff out, I'll show you guys what's going on. Oh, the other thing I got to do is I just have tape covering that hole where there was a recirc valve. I need to actually like shut that like the right way before it sucks the tape in. Yeah. We have the bottom of the catch can, which I emptied this 3 weeks ago. I think, yeah, I do it once a month. It's got quite a bit in it. A nice, good quality catch can. This one is from Mishimoto, a real Mishimoto one, not the knockoff ones that you can find on eBay and Amazon that look the same. But yeah, clearly works. And it's sealed up and doesn't leak. So that's nice. Let's empty that out. Okay, we got everything up here disconnected that need to. Motor mount's still connected and the bolts to the bell housing is still connected, but that's it. So now we're gonna go under the car, drain the gear oil out, take the axles out. I might disconnect the exhaust to give me a little more room to lower this. Now on these, because it's a half subframe, which I'll show you in a minute, you can just slide transmission off, take it out. It's a kind of a pain in the ass to get around some stuff, but that's all you got to do. One of the ways to make that easier is the mount on the transmission itself. Once you unbolt this, drop it down, and you take that off, and it gives you tons of room to slide it over as far as you want. So that's why this is fairly a quick job compared to something like a Juke where subframes have to come out or you gotta take it all at the top. So that's what we're gonna do next, is axles and everything under the car. Then we'll work on taking out the 18 millimeters that hold the transmission in. The two for the starter are the biggest pain in the butt because the intake manifold's there and I really don't want to take that out. So we're gonna see if we can maybe do that from the underside. All right, so we got our axles out, lower motor mounts out, ground is out. I've mentioned before that there's a cutout for back pressure management in here. I don't think I've ever shown it, but that's it right there. Fun little thing, dumped right there. So, one of the other things that I'm gonna do that I forgot that I was gonna do is we're gonna put an engine mount insert in here. Again, same as a Juke one. So we're gonna go ahead and plop that in while it's apart. I've got the fender liner pulled back over here so that we can see and move everything. I started pulling out the 18 mils, holding the transmission on. I'm gonna get the ones towards the back of the transmission now. Lower back down, undo the bolts on the top, and then slide my called transmission table, whatever it is, underneath it, and then take the transmission off, and then we're at the clutch. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get the clutch, get the transmission loose, get the table under there, and then I'll show you where we go from there. I have to pause this because something just happened to my lift. If you notice, the car's sitting a little crooked. I got a jack stand under there. I'm gonna lower it down and try to level it out. I don't know what the hell just happened. That side started sinking. So hopefully we don't have to postpone this project. So just dealing with the lift doing that. Got the starter bolts out. I got one from the top going that way and one from the bottom going that way. So it's got two bolts holding on up here. So before I take those out, we're gonna take this out. And before I take this out, I need to put the, before I take these out, I gotta put the table under there. So we have our bracket out that was here. We got bolt there, and bolt there to take out, and then it's gonna come out. We have our table already under here. So I'm gonna undo those three, and with the table holding it up, and then this transmission should just slide out. All right, so I just pulled the transmission out. I actually had somebody swing by. I was doing a build plan with them, and I decided to have them help me take this out, which was a good thing because I got it jammed and I ended up having to just carry it. So it is out. That's the clutch and flywheel. I can tell we're burning clutch because there is a lot of clutch dust in there. So I'm calling it a day. So tomorrow we'll actually get in here. We'll get in here and pop that off. We'll see how bad it is. And then we'll swap it out with the new one. And then put this back in. When I put this back in, I think the thing I did that made me get caught up this time was this it's just hanging all the way down. So what I'll do is I'll put a crossbar on top and lift it up a little bit because it was getting caught on that section of subframe right there. So just don't want to do that again. But it's out and ready to rock and roll. I have a set of RSR lowering springs here. The front ones are sitting outside, And you know, I have it up in the air and it's got KYBs on it. Thinking about it.